interesting.
This is Chris Spiker.
I'm Aaron Goldstein, and we're here with Luis Garibay from the city of Lancaster.
Hi, Luis.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good. Hey, I'm going to read from an article in this week's Valley Press about you. Garibay is now a senior project coordinator for the city's Development Services Department. You're overseeing the development, marketing, and implementation of the city's Revive 25 program, a $105 million initiative to treat every street in the city of Lancaster by 2025.
Big task. 105 million sounds like a lot, but it really isn't.
It's not what it used to be.
No, definitely not. But we're giving our best go and trying to make sure that we treat every street in Lancaster by 2025.
Whew. I'm driving around, I feel like sometimes, some of those Roman roads from 2,000 years ago are still in use.
Yeah, they had a couple touch-ups, I'm sure, since then. We have some pretty old roads ourselves, though. We just found out, I'm sure you drove 20th Street West between the Boulevard and J, and we found out through some research that that road was originally built in 1915, and it's lasted
Really?
almost 100 years.
Is that why those like 4-inch pipes were in the gutter on the east side of the street?
There had to be a lot of upgrades as
Yeah.
part of the project. You can
Yeah.
imagine how old the water lines and the sewer lines underneath were. So we try to do, our policy usually is when we dig up the road, if LA County Waterworks or the sewer sand district need to do some upgrades, we might as well do it all at once.
All at once, and we don't have to go back and...
We don't have to cut the road again. Hopefully do it once, and then we won't be back hopefully for 30 years.
And part of the Revive is the bike lanes?
Yeah, that's part of it. You know, it's really looking at safety for both pedestrians, cyclists, and vehicles all at the same time. And one of the ways that they're doing that is with the narrowing of lanes and adding bike lanes to a lot of the new projects. Not everyone's happy with it.
Right.
A lot of people think that it's primarily a push from the cyclist community, and it's great for them, obviously. But from our perspective, it's been more about the safety aspect.
Right.
People complain about how fast people drive around here, and
Slow them down.
Slow them down a little bit. And you know, it's not easy to change the speed limit. That's something that a lot of people don't know either. It's not like we can just go up there and just change it ourselves. There's a whole process involved that sometimes is out of our hands. So this is the first part of that process, and it gets hopefully a safer community.
Some of that bicycle lane, isn't that state mandated?
No,
No?
it's not state mandated. It's we have since Lancaster's, the entire Allen Valley is relatively flat. That means the good thing is you can see for miles on end. Well, when you can see that far ahead of you, then you often tend to drive a little bit faster because you don't see, you can see in front of you, so you feel a little bit safer.
Right.
But there's little things you can do, like the narrowing of lanes, to make people feel a little bit more congested.
Right.
And that'll help just naturally slow you down a little
Can't
bit.
drive on the sidewalks anymore.
Can't drive on the sidewalks
Oh,
anymore. Man. Yeah. So, but like I said, this is one part of the process. The next part that's going to be done in October is the synchronization of all the street lights. We just spent the last few months getting those upgraded, so now they'll be able to talk each other, and that's something that the citizens have constantly brought up about the synchronization of these lights and how come I'm hitting every red light.
Right.
So what this is going to allow us to do now is during those peak times when school gets out, when people are getting to work, we can keep all the lights green.
And the perfect speed would probably be the speed limit?
Yep.
Okay,
that
that makes sense.
But again, we'll increase the traffic flow, hopefully prevent some accidents, and
Right.
not irritate people too much.
Right, there's a lot involved there.
There is.
When I see the bike lanes, I get the thought out of a certain movie, if you build it, they will come. And I think you put those bike lanes in, you're going to start seeing bicyclists.
Once we start connecting them all, and that's the problem, that's the other side of it too, is we unfortunately don't own all the easements to be able to just do them all at once.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's a process like you talked about earlier. But slowly you'll start seeing them connect so that they're longer stretches of periods. And I hear one of the complaints I hear a lot is that I never see anybody on them, but you'd be surprised now. I see quite a few people, if they're not using their own bicycles, and they're even using it as a running path or a walking path.
Wow.
Just now they feel a little bit safer
Man.
because they have a little bit of a buffer there between the vehicles. And the vehicles are now going a little bit slower, so they feel a little bit safer as well.
So the whole reason I brought you on, besides your incoming president of the
Mhm.
Chamber of Commerce, what's that white curb on Sierra Highway between
So,
K and L?
yeah, a few weeks ago, we had a concerned citizen come to our council meeting and express his, he lived near that area, and one of the things that he had mentioned is that the inability for him to use his wheelchair to safely get to the bowling alley, which I didn't know how popular the bowling alley was, but apparently it's a big hit with the senior community out in that area. But there's not sidewalks on the west side of the Sierra, because it's still undeveloped.
Yeah.
So what we ended up doing is building a temporary path, essentially, and that big curb there is basically just as a safety. It's hard to kind of educate drivers if they're used to a certain pattern or
They're
whatever.
gonna
it is.
drive over a stripe.
Yeah.
They won't drive over a curb.
They won't. You would think so.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why we painted it white, and we actually threw the reflective beads on there as well, similar to what we do with the striping, so people see it, and to create a little bit more space. So now that gentleman and anybody can use that until we come up with a more permanent fix, which will be in about a year.
And then just past the bowling alley, you've got the bike lane.
The K bike path now that
That
connects
connects.
from Sierra Highway all the way down past 10th Street West. Now
That's
over
pretty
the curve.
cool.
Yeah, like I said, there's a whole plan on how we can connect cyclists throughout the valley and safely. And again, it's just little pieces of the puzzle that hopefully over the next few years we'll start seeing a lot more of it. And then, like you see in other communities, once people know it's safe, once they know it's not inconvenient to try to cross here, and it's all kind of connected, there's a plan there in place, then you'll start seeing a lot more people using it. I mean, especially during the summer and the evenings when it's cool and people want to be outside and do something a little more active. This is a great way for them to do that.
We're talking with Louise Garibay, the Senior Project Coordinator for the city's Development Services Department and the incoming President of the Lancaster Chamber. What are some of the goals that you have for the next year with the Lancaster Chamber of Commerce?
A lot of it is really, we're gonna really plan this year based on what the members want to see. One of the first things that we're gonna be doing out of the gate is we're gonna be doing a quick survey of all of our existing members to see what we're doing well, what we can improve on, and what are those areas of concentration that we're not really hitting on right now. So whether it be marketing, whether it be more business networking, whether it be business training and small business development, whatever it may be, we want to make sure that our members feel like they're getting the value out of their membership. So we need to hear and see what their wants are and really kind of create programs geared towards that. The other thing that I guess is a little less or a little more boring, I guess, is just really going back to the fundamentals of the organization and building that foundation again. Putting things down on paper, policies, procedures that all organizations need. And over the 115 plus years that the organization's been around, I'm sure at some point these things have been in place. But as things move and change and things aren't always there. So we want to kind of go back to those fundamentals, make sure that we build the organization as a whole.
Yeah.
That way for the next group leadership that they have those things in place, so that all they have to do is build upon that.
So even with different personalities running the chamber, the process stays the same.
The organization needs to be strong. If everything's organized and put together and you can literally hand off to the next person in charge, then they can easily run it. And all they have to do now is improve it and tweak it.
Luis, the fair parade is coming.
Yeah, we're very excited. This year we're actually doing something a little bit new. We pushed it up a week. So it's actually going to be happening on Saturday, August 11th, the week before the fair starts. One of the things that has always been an issue with the fair parade is, at least in the last couple of years, participation, both from entries and then also from the crowds. Usually that opening night of the fair is a very fun time that a lot of people go to. It's hard to wake up the next morning bright and early
And go to the parade.
And then even from an exhibit standpoint, a lot of the guys that have the farm equipment, the FFA, they have animals and all that good stuff, they can't walk and participate in the parade because they're all in the middle of showing and having those displays on the fair. So we hope that this will do it. And again, it's one of those things, we'll try it this year. If it works, great. If not, we can always go back and do it the way we did it last year.
Sometimes the fair to me, I mean, it drags on,
Mm-hmm.
but then again, it's like, oh, it's over?
Yeah.
So this way, we've added a week to it.
Yeah, and it builds the excitement, you know.
Yeah.
We can now kind of put together a series of events with the parade, the boulevard, Thursday night on the boulevard, some other things leading up to the weekend of the kickoff to get people more excited so that it doesn't feel like it's here and gone.
You're quite the volunteer guy.
I
How did you get that volunteerism going?
You know, I started really young. I think you know, I was when in high school I was an FFA kid. I would participate in the fair a lot of different organizations and clubs. So it was it definitely it stuck with me over the time. And even as a city, working for the city, I had the opportunity working in economic development to work as a liaison with the chamber and the board of trade. So it really gave me an opportunity to kind of get more involved in the community and to meet a lot of good people. Like yourself, Chris.
Yeah, because the first time I met you, this is Luis Garibay, and he's an intern, right?
Something like that, yeah.
It's all outlined in the
Yeah,
wonderful article
it's-
that Jim Skeen.
Yeah, we have to thank Jim for that one.
Did you have to pay him for this?
No.
Look at the photo and everything.
I think I owe him a favor though, because I think he did a little photoshopping on it to make sure I look good too. So.
It's a great article, and your wife Patty's involved with the city.
Yeah, she's been working at the city now for a little over 10 years as well. So it's been great so far.
And your son's name is Chris?
It is.
Oh my goodness.
Our youngest is Chris.
I'm flattered.
Our oldest daughter is Alex, and it's 2, and we're done, and there's our family.
Man, that happened so fast.
It did. They grow up so fast too. So.
Hey, Luis, thank you for being the incoming president for the Chamber of Commerce, being so involved in the community.
I'm very excited about this year. Hopefully, a lot of good things come from it.
Very good. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Chris.